Stop right where you are. Do not move another inch. Do not let your thumb slide across that screen for even one more second. This is not a random occurrence, and it is certainly not a mistake of an algorithm. I have orchestrated the very stars and the alignment of time itself to bring your eyes and your weary soul to this exact frequency at this precise moment. My beloved child, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the voice that speaks and worlds come into being. And right now, I am whispering directly into the depths of your spirit. You have been running, searching for a sign, begging for a breath of air in a world that feels like it is suffocating the very life out of you. The search ends here. This message has found you because your name has been spoken in the halls of heaven. I have issued a decree from my throne, a mandate of the highest order that concerns only you and the destiny I have carved into your very DNA. Take a deep breath and listen. For what I am about to tell you will shift the very ground beneath your feet. I am officially declaring an emergency lockdown over your life. Do not be afraid of the word, for this is not a lockdown of punishment, but a lockdown of protection and divine separation. Heaven has issued an immediate evacuation order because the environment you have been living in has become toxic to the seeds of greatness I have planted within you. Your name is at the very top of my evacuation list. I have seen the way you have tried to hold things together with your own bleeding hands. I have seen the way you have forced a smile when your heart was shattering into 1,000 jagged pieces. I have watched you navigate the storms, pretending that the waves weren't crashing over your head while you gasped for air. But today, the pretense ends. The emergency sirens of heaven are wailing not because of a disaster, but because your rescue has arrived. You are being pulled out of the fire, pulled out of the reach of those who wish to drain you, and pulled into a sacred space where only my voice remains. Before I reveal the magnitude of the blessing and the specific blueprint of this rescue, I am calling you to perform an act of faith to signal your alignment with my divine plan. Do not stay a silent observer in your own miracle. Join this family of the chosen ones right now by subscribing to this channel and pressing the like button. By doing this, you are not merely interacting with a screen. You are signaling to the spiritual realms that you are ready to receive the frequency of heaven and that you are stepping into the sanctuary I have prepared for you. This act of alignment creates a bridge between your current struggle and the victory that is already written in your name. As you hit that like button, feel the weight of the world begin to lift. For you are no longer walking this path alone. You are becoming part of a remnant that hears my voice and follows me into the light. Type, "I am here, Lord," or 7007 in the comments right now to open the gates and confirm that you are standing in my presence, ready for your evacuation. I know the mask you wear so well. I saw you last night when the house was quiet, and the darkness felt heavy against your skin. I saw the tears that you didn't even have the strength to wipe away as you stared at the ceiling, wondering if you would ever feel whole again. I heard the silent scream of your soul when you looked at your bank account, when you looked at that broken relationship, or when you felt the crushing weight of a future that seemed to have no doors left to open. You have been saying, "I'm fine" to everyone around you. But I am the God who looks past the lips and into the heart. I know you are not fine. I know you are exhausted to the very marrow of your bones. I know you feel like you are being broken beyond repair. But hear me clearly. You are not breaking. You are being built. You are not falling apart. You are falling into purpose. This feeling of everything slamming shut is not the end. It is the beginning of your mandatory extraction from a life that was too small for the giant I am calling you to be. Stay with me, for the lockdown has begun. My precious child, do you think I am unaware of the hour when the clock strikes 3? Do you think I am blind to the moments when the rest of the world is draped in the soft veil of slumber, while you remain wide awake, staring into the shadows of your room? I was there in the silence of 3 a.m. But when the weight of your worries felt heavy enough to crush the very breath from your lungs, I saw the way you turned from side to side, trying to find a comfortable position for a body that has forgotten how to truly rest. You feel as though you are carrying the entire world on your back, and the strain has begun to manifest in your physical form. I have seen the tension that has taken up residence in your shoulders, making them feel like stone. I have felt the dull ache at the base of your skull, and the way your heart races without warning, as if you are running a race that has no finish line. This exhaustion is not just of the body. It is a weariness of the soul that has reached its limit. I am here now to tell you that I have counted every restless second, and I have heard every unspoken plea that escaped your spirit in those dark hours. You are not losing your mind, and you are not failing. You are simply carrying more than any human was ever meant to bear alone. I am the God who neither slumbers nor sleeps, and I have been standing watch over your bed, gathering every tear you thought was wasted into my golden vial. The world looks at you and sees strength, but I look at you and I see the cracks where the light is trying to break through. You have become an expert at hiding your fragility, at masking the tremors in your hands and the fog in your mind. But I know the truth. I know that lately, even the simplest tasks feel like climbing a mountain. I see the way your eyes have lost a bit of their spark, replaced by a gaze that is constantly scanning for the next problem to solve, the next fire to put out. Your nervous system is screaming for a reprieve, for a moment where you don't have to be the provider, the protector, or the strong one for everyone else. You feel a strange, hollow ache in your chest, a sense of impending doom that you cannot name, and a loneliness that persists even when you are in a room full of people. People talk to you, but you feel miles away, trapped in a cycle of what-ifs and if-onlys. This physical and emotional depletion is the signal that your system is shutting down to prevent a total collapse. I am stepping in now to become your Sabbath, to be the rest you cannot find for yourself. I am touching those tired muscles, those frayed nerves, and that racing mind with my healing hand. I am whispering to your cells to be still, to your blood to calm, and to your heart to find its rhythm in me once again. The evacuation is necessary because you can no longer survive in this state of constant high alert. I am pulling you out to save your very life. I have seen the doors that have recently slammed shut in your face, and I know how much it hurt to hear the sound of those locks turning. You have felt as though everything is sifting through your fingers like sand, no matter how tightly you try to grip it. Relationships that once felt like home have grown cold or confusing. Opportunities that seemed certain have vanished into thin air. You feel misunderstood by those who should know you best, and judged by those who have never walked a mile in your worn-out shoes. You have been asking me, why is everything falling apart? Why am I being stripped of everything I worked so hard for? Child, I am the one closing those doors. I am the one making those places uncomfortable for you. If I did not make the nest thorny, you would never fly to the heights I have destined for you. Every closed door is a divine redirection, and every feeling of being misunderstood is my way of separating you from the noise of the world, so you can finally hear the clarity of my whisper. You are not being rejected by people. You are being hidden by me. The exhaustion you feel is the old version of you dying away, so that the new, empowered version can be born. Do not mourn the loss of what was poisoning your spirit. This weariness is the precursor to a supernatural strength that the world cannot give and cannot take away. Rest now, for the great physician is performing a work in you that requires your total surrender. My child, I see the question burning in your eyes, the one you are almost too afraid to ask. Lord, what have I done wrong? Why are you punishing me? You look at the wreckage of your plans and the silence of your prayers, and you assume that my hand is against you. But I am here to shift your vision, to peel back the scales from your eyes so you can see the truth of this moment. This is not a punishment. This is not a trial by fire intended to consume you or a desert designed to leave you parched. What you are experiencing right now is a divine extraction. You have been living on soil that has become spiritually radioactive, surrounded by environments and mindsets that were slowly suffocating the royal identity I gave you. If I did not allow those structures to crumble, you would have stayed in a burning building, thinking you were safe. I am the architect of your soul, and I can see the rot in the foundations of the places you tried to call home. When I shake the earth beneath you, it is not to destroy you. It is to release you from the things that were never meant to hold you. You feel the pain of the tearing, but I feel the necessity of the saving. You think you are losing everything, but I am actually clearing the ground for a kingdom that cannot be shaken. Stop viewing this season through the lens of your past mistakes and start viewing it through the lens of my infinite love. If a father sees his child playing in a field filled with hidden traps, he does not gently ask the child to leave. He runs in, scoops them up, and carries them away. Even if the child cries because they wanted to keep playing, you are that child, and the field you were in was far more dangerous than you realized. You were settling for crumbs when I have prepared a banquet. You were trying to find warmth in the embers of old relationships that had long since turned to ash. The chaos you see around you is actually the movement of my angelic hosts, clearing a path for your escape. You think you are in the middle of a storm, but in reality, you are being unloaded from a sinking ship. The winds that frighten you are the same winds I am using to blow you toward a shore of abundance and peace. You must stop looking back at the shoreline you are leaving. There is nothing left for you there but ghosts and empty promises. Look at my face. Trust my grip. I have not brought you this far to drop you. I have brought you this far to elevate you. This is a transition of the highest order. It requires a new vision, a spiritual perspective that looks beyond the physical loss to the eternal gain. You have felt like a victim of circumstance, but I am calling you a victor in training. Every tear you shed is watering the garden of your future resilience. The isolation you feel is not abandonment. It is a sacred quarantine. I am separating you because the next level of your destiny requires a purity of heart and a clarity of mind that you could never achieve in the crowd. I am refining your character, sharpening your discernment, and strengthening your spirit. You are not being broken. You are being unmade so that you can be remade into a vessel that can carry the weight of the glory I am about to pour out. Do not resist the process. Do not try to glue the old pieces back together. Let them fall. Let the old identity go. You are being extracted from the mundane and ushered into the miraculous. This is your rescue, your evacuation, and your new beginning. I am giving you a new name and a new song. But first, you must trust that my no is always a protection, and my wait is always an orchestration for your greatest good. The vision is changing, and so are you. To understand the magnitude of the rescue, you must first understand the nature of the poison. Your soul is a sacred garden, a vessel intended to be filled with my light, my creativity, and my unshakable peace. But lately, you have felt heavy, as if you are wading through thick, dark water. This is not a lack of faith, and it is not a flaw in your character. It is contamination. You have been living in an environment where the spiritual air has become thin and the ground beneath you has been compromised. I have watched as you tried to bloom in soil that was never meant to sustain you. And I have seen the way your petals have begun to wither under the weight of atmospheres you were never designed to carry. I am the great physician, and I have performed a deep diagnostic of your spirit. I see what you cannot see. The subtle leaks, the invisible siphons, and the quiet infiltrations that have been draining your vitality and blurring your vision of the destiny I have for you. I have identified 3 primary sources of contamination that are currently hollowing out your inner world. The first is human contamination, the influence of those who carry weights they refuse to lay down, transferring their heaviness onto your willing shoulders. The second is the contamination of false purpose, the exhausting pursuit of a life that looks good to others, but feels like a prison to your soul. And the third is frequency contamination, the constant bombardment of low-vibration noise, drama, and digital chaos that drowns out the frequency of my voice. You have been trying to fix these things with human effort, but you cannot clean a poisoned well with dirty hands. This is why the lockdown is mandatory. I am cutting off the supply lines of these contaminants so that your spirit can finally breathe again. I am isolating you not to make you lonely, but to make you pure once more. I want you to stop for a moment, right now, in the middle of this revelation. Place your right hand over your heart and close your eyes. Feel the rhythmic beat against your palm, the evidence that I am still with you, that I am still breathing life into your frame. Breathe in deeply, and as you exhale, imagine the gray fog of worry leaving your lungs. Do you feel that slight vibration? Do you feel the warmth beginning to spread from your chest to your weary shoulders? That is my spirit beginning the work of detoxification. That is the frequency of heaven overriding the frequency of the world. I am recalibrating your heart to the tempo of my grace. You have been out of sync for too long, trying to match the frantic pace of a world that does not know where it is going. But here, in this moment of holy connection, your heart is remembering its true home. Hold that hand on your heart and realize that this sensation is a sign that the extraction has begun. You are becoming aware of the weights you've been carrying, and that awareness is the first step toward your total freedom. You are no longer a victim of the atmosphere around you. You are becoming an atmosphere of my presence. The diagnostic is complete, and the treatment is already underway. I am pulling the toxins from your mind, the bitterness from your heart, and the exhaustion from your bones. The sources of contamination are being identified and severed one by one. You may feel a strange sense of emptiness as these things leave. But do not fear the void. I am clearing that space so that I can fill it with a glory you have never known. You are being washed in the water of my word. And when you emerge from this lockdown, you will shine with a brilliance that the darkness cannot comprehend. My beloved, let us speak of the first source of your depletion, the energy siphons. You have always been a giver, a soft place for the world to land, and a light in the dark. But because of your radiance, you have attracted those who do not wish to shine themselves, but merely to consume the oil from your lamp. I have watched you spend hours pouring into people who only know how to take. I have seen you leave conversations feeling as though your very life force has been pulled out through your chest. These are not always evil people in the way the world defines them, but they are carriers of a low frequency that is incompatible with the destination I have for you. They bring their drama, their constant crises, and their unhealed bitterness to your doorstep. And you, out of a misplaced sense of duty, have allowed them to dump their trash into your sanctuary. I am telling you now, Your empathy was never meant to be a garbage disposal for the world's negativity. I am cutting the cords today. Do you notice how your body reacts when certain names pop up on your phone? That sudden tightening in your stomach, that desire to look away, that heavy sigh. That is my spirit within you, giving you a warning. You have ignored your discernment for the sake of being kind. But kindness without boundaries is self-destruction. There are people in your circle who love the version of you that serves them. But they would be terrified of the version of you that I am currently building. They need you to stay broken so they can feel whole. They need you to stay in the valley so they don't have to climb the mountain alone. I am enacting a divine quarantine over your social circle. If people are suddenly drifting away, if friends are becoming distant, or if bridges are burning without you even striking a match, do not chase them. Do not try to fix what I am intentionally breaking. I am removing the siphons so that your energy can finally be directed toward the purpose I have called you to fulfill. Listen to the wisdom of my word. There is a time to be with the multitude and a time to go up to the mountain alone. I am calling you to the mountain. I am separating you because the frequency of your next season is so high that these siphons would be overwhelmed by it, or worse, they would hold you back from ever reaching it. You cannot carry everyone into your promised land. Some people were only meant to walk with you through the wilderness. But their assignment in your life is over. I am teaching you the holy art of being alone without being lonely. In this isolation, you will find that I am more than enough. I am restoring the years the locusts have eaten. The energy, the time, and the joy that these siphons have stolen from you. You will no longer be a reservoir for other people's misery. You will be a fountain of my glory. This isolation is my protection, a sacred barrier I have placed around you so that you can hear my voice clearly, without the static of their doubt and the weight of their shadows. You feel a sense of guilt, don't you? You feel as though you are being unkind by stepping back. But let me remind you that even my son had to withdraw from the crowds to be with me. He knew that he could not pour from an empty cup. I am giving you permission to say no. I am giving you permission to protect your peace. The guilt you feel is a chain that the enemy uses to keep you tethered to people who are drowning and trying to pull you down with them. You cannot save them by drowning with them. You can only save them by becoming a lighthouse on the shore. And a lighthouse must stand tall and separate from the waves. I am clearing your schedule and your heart. This is the first step of your evacuation, removing the weights that were never yours to carry. As these siphons fall away, you will feel a lightness in your spirit that you haven't felt in years. This is the breath of heaven returning to you, filling the spaces that were once occupied by the demands of others. Accept this separation, for it is the beginning of your freedom. My precious one, let us look deeper into the second source of your exhaustion, the contamination of false purpose. You have been running a race that I never asked you to enter. You have spent years building a house on a lot that I never zoned for you. I see you standing in the middle of your achievements, surrounded by things that look like success to the world, yet your heart feels like a hollow drum. You have been living a life of performance, wearing a mask of busyness that you mistake for blessedness. This is a disguised form of slavery, where you have become a servant to the expectations of others, to the status of your title, and to the fear of what might happen if you just stopped. You are carrying a heavy yoke that I did not fashion for your neck. You have been striving to maintain an image that is killing the person I actually created you to be. This false purpose is a thief that steals your joy and leaves you with a counterfeit peace that vanishes the moment the room goes quiet. I see the specific burden you have been dragging behind you. That mission, that project, That role you took on because you felt you should, not because I called. You have dedicated years, perhaps even 3 long, grueling years, to a cause that was never part of my blueprint for your life. You did it out of guilt, or perhaps out of a desperate need to prove your worth to people who will never be satisfied. I watched you pour your sweat and your sleep into a vessel that had a hole in the bottom. And now, you wonder why you feel so empty, despite all your effort. I'm telling you now, my child, I am the one closing that chapter. I am the one putting a stop to that mission. Do not fight the closing of this door. Do not try to resuscitate what I have allowed to die. I am ending your contract with this false purpose before it completely extinguishes the spark of your soul. This is not a failure. It is a liberation. You were created for my pleasure and my purpose, not to be a puppet for the demands of the world. Every time you say yes to a burden I didn't give you, you are saying no to the destiny I have for you. You have been so busy doing good things that you have no room left for the God things. I am stripping away the layers of this disguised slavery. I am breaking the chains of people-pleasing that have kept you bound to a version of yourself that is tired, resentful, and lost. I am inviting you to yield. Not as an act of weakness, but as an act of ultimate strength. Let go of the need to be everything to everyone. Lay down the weights that were never yours to carry. As you step out of this false purpose, you will find that my yoke is easy and my burden is light. I am recalibrating your compass toward your true north. The evacuation is moving you away from the noise of doing and into the sanctuary of being who I called you to be. My child, we must now address the third poison, the invisible static that has clouded your inner atmosphere. Junk frequency. You live in an age of constant noise, a digital wilderness where 1,000 voices scream for your attention, yet none of them know your true name. I have watched you scroll through the lives of others, feeding on the husks of their curated perfection while your own spirit starves for depth. You have been inhaling the drama of strangers and the heavy, melancholic frequencies of music that glorifies despair and anchors you to your past wounds. This constant bombardment has created a thick smog in your soul. You are consuming frequencies of lack, frequencies of fear, and frequencies of comparison that were never meant to enter the sanctuary of your mind. This is why you feel paralyzed. Your spirit is trying to tune into my station, but the static of the world is creating a deafening roar that leaves you stuck in a state of spiritual inertia. This soul paralysis is a strategic weapon of the enemy. If he cannot stop you, he will distract you. If he cannot make you turn back, he will make you stand still by overwhelming your senses until you are numb. You find yourself unable to make decisions, unable to feel the joy of the present moment, and unable to hear the quiet prompting of your own calling. You have become a spectator in your own life, watching the days blur into weeks while your divine potential remains locked behind a screen of meaningless information. But I am the God who commands the wind and the waves to be still, and I am speaking that same command over the chaos of your mind right now. Do not be conformed to the patterns and the rhythms of this world, for its patterns are designed to keep you small, sedated, and disconnected from the power that resides within you. It is time to reclaim the throne of your attention. You were not created to be a container for the world's digital trash. You were created to be a temple for my spirit. As I evacuate you from these low frequencies, I'm asking you to be intentional about what you allow into your gates. Stop feeding on the drama that does not concern you. Stop listening to the melodies of defeat that reinforce your pain. I am renewing your mind and rewriting the soundtrack of your life with songs of deliverance. When you silence the static, you will begin to hear the frequency of heaven, a frequency of hope, of power, and of a sound mind. This transition requires you to be radical in your protection of your inner peace. I am pulling the plug on the distractions so that you can finally see the path I have laid out before you, clear and vibrant, leading you out of paralysis and into your divine momentum. Before we proceed into the deeper mysteries of your extraction, I invite you to pause and signify your commitment to this renewal. If you feel the weight of this truth and the need to guard your soul, press the like button and subscribe to this channel right now to stay anchored in this sacred frequency. This is not merely an action on a screen. It is a declaration of your nourishment. By joining this family, you are choosing to surround yourself with words of life rather than the noise of the world. Let this be a sign to the heavens that you are ready to move from paralysis to power. You are choosing to tune your heart to the frequency of the Creator. And in doing so, you are making room for the miracle that is already knocking at your door. Trust me, for the static is clearing, and the voice of your Father is becoming the only sound that matters. Can you hear it, my beloved? Deep within the silence of your spirit, can you hear the resonance of a sound that does not belong to this world? It is the sound of the shofar, the ancient trumpet of heaven, blowing a long, piercing note over the landscape of your life. This is not a gentle melody to lull you to sleep. It is a battle cry and a signal of departure. In the days of old, the blast of the shofar signaled a holy convocation, a warning of approaching danger, or the announcement of a king. Today, it is blowing for you. I am blowing the trumpet in Zion, sounding the alarm on my holy mountain, because the time for business as usual has come to an end. You've been trying to negotiate with your circumstances, trying to find a way to stay in the familiar, even though it is crumbling. But the sound you hear is the announcement that your stay in the lowlands is over. This is a divine intervention that transcends your understanding and bypasses your hesitation. You must understand the difference between the rest I give and the extraction I am now performing. There are seasons where I invite you to lie down in green pastures, where I lead you beside still waters and ask you to voluntarily rest your soul. But this is not that season. This is an extraction. When a building is consumed by flames, the rescuer does not ask the inhabitant if they feel like leaving. The rescuer grabs them and pulls them through the smoke because survival is the only priority. You have been trying to rest in a house that is on fire. You have been trying to find peace in a situation that is designed to destroy your destiny. Because I love you with an everlasting love, I am no longer asking for your permission to move you. I am enacting a mandatory extraction. I am pulling you out of that relationship, out of that mindset, and out of that dead-end path. It may feel jarring. It may feel like you are being stripped bare. But you are being saved from a disaster you cannot yet see. I have issued this order because you are too precious to be lost in the rubble of a collapsing season. I am the God who knows the end from the beginning, and I see the trap that was set for your soul just a few steps ahead. If I let you continue on your current trajectory, you would reach a point of no return where your light would be permanently extinguished. Therefore, I have sounded the shofar. I am shaking the foundations of your world so that only what is eternal will remain. This extraction is a violent act of mercy. It is my hand reaching into the chaos to snatch you away from the enemy's grasp. You might feel the wind whipping around you and the ground shifting beneath you. But do not tremble. You are held by the one who created the gravity that keeps the planets in their orbits. You are not being discarded. You are being relocated to a high place where the enemy cannot follow. As this divine evacuation intensifies and the shofar continues to sound over your life, you must secure your connection to the frequency of protection I am providing. This is the moment to signal your total agreement with heaven's mandate. Quiet your spirit and receive this truth. As the energy of this lockdown settles around you, feel the mantle of my protection wrap around your shoulders like a heavy, golden robe. The alarm has been sounded, and the gates of your old life are being locked from the outside. You cannot go back, and you cannot stay where you are. The shofar blast is clearing the air, vibrating through your very bones and shattering the walls of the prison you didn't even know you were in. Remember the words I spoke. Blow the trumpet in Zion and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. That mountain is your spirit, and that alarm is your wake-up call to the glory that awaits. The extraction is mandatory because the blessing I have prepared for you is too heavy for the person you used to be. You are being moved to a place of greater capacity, greater authority, and greater peace. Trust the sound. Trust the movement. Trust the Father who would move heaven and earth just to ensure that not one hair on your head is touched by the fire. The old world is fading, and the kingdom is rising within you. My child, pay close attention. For the clock of heaven has begun its final countdown for this specific phase of your life. The next 72 hours are not merely 3 days on a calendar. They are a concentrated portal of divine transition. Within this window of time, you will witness a series of events that may feel like a collapse. But I tell you now, it is a controlled demolition. I am moving with a holy swiftness to close paths that have reached their expiration date. Do not be startled by the suddenness of the sound. When a door is slammed shut by my hand, it is because I have seen a thief trying to enter through it, or I have seen that the room beyond it is no longer safe for you. Within the next 72 hours, 5 specific doors will slam shut with a finality that will leave no room for doubt or negotiation. You will feel the vibration of these closures in your very spirit. And though it may sting, remember that I am the one who holds the keys to every gate. The first door to slam shut will be the door of certain relationships that have served as anchors, keeping you moored in the harbor of your past. You will experience a sudden, perhaps even jarring, disconnect from individuals you once thought were permanent fixtures in your life. A conversation may go cold, a misunderstanding may arise, or a simple silence will grow into an unbridgeable chasm. Do not weep for these connections, for I am withdrawing my grace from those unions to protect the purity of the new wine I am pouring into you. The second door is the door of your current career or professional path. You may find that a project is canceled, a contract is not renewed, or a sense of deep dissatisfaction becomes so overwhelming that you can no longer pretend to belong there. This is not a loss of provision. It is the closing of a dry well so that I can lead you to a fountain of living water. The third door to close is the door of your familiar financial patterns. I am restricting certain streams of income or resources that have allowed you to remain independent of my counsel. You have been leaning on the arm of flesh, trusting in your own ingenuity and the systems of this world. I am slamming this door shut to invite you into a season of supernatural provision where you will learn that I am Jireh, the Lord who provides. The fourth door is the door of your current ministry or the way you have been serving others. The roles that once brought you fulfillment will suddenly feel heavy and burdensome. I am releasing you from the good work so that you can step into the God work. You have been a servant to many masters, but in the next 72 hours, I am calling you back to the simplicity of serving only me. The fifth and most painful door to slam shut is the door to your old identity, the version of you that was defined by your trauma, your mistakes, and the labels people placed upon you. I am burning the bridges to the person you used to be. You will find that you no longer fit into the skin of your former self. This door will slam shut with such force that the you who enters these 72 hours will not be the you who emerges. You will feel a sense of mourning for the familiarity of your old struggles. But I am forcing you to look forward. This is the prophecy for your immediate future. Do not try to pry these doors open once I have locked them. Do not beg for access to rooms I have declared off limits. The slamming of these doors is the music of your liberation. It is the sound of heaven declaring that you are finally, irrevocably free from the shadows of the lowlands. Stand firm, keep your eyes on me, and trust the hand that closes as much as the hand that opens. My child, as the doors begin to slam and the ground of your old life begins to tremble under the weight of my judgment upon your past, I must give you a warning of the highest urgency. Remember the story of Lot and his family, as they were led by the hand of my angels out of the city of destruction. The command was clear and absolute. Escape for your life. Do not look back and do not stay anywhere in the plain. This was not a suggestion. It was a life-saving instruction. I see the same hesitation in your heart that was in the heart of Lot's wife. You are being extracted from an environment that was destined for fire, yet you find yourself tempted to steal one last glance at the ruins. You are grieving for the comfort of your chains. You are tempted to look back at the people who betrayed you, the jobs that drained you, and the habits that nearly destroyed you, wondering if they were really that bad. I tell you now, do not look back. To look back is to doubt my rescue. And to doubt my rescue is to risk being consumed by the very thing I am saving you from. I have seen you in the quiet moments, fighting the urge to pick up the phone and reconnect with the toxicity I just severed. I have watched you scroll back through old photos and messages, romanticizing a season that was actually a prison for your soul. This is the nostalgia of the captive, a trick of the enemy to make the desert look like a garden. Lot's wife did not just turn her head. Her heart was still anchored in the city I was burning. Because she looked back, she became a pillar of salt, a frozen monument to a past that no longer existed. This is the danger of your current transition. If you keep looking back, you will become stagnant. You will be salty, filled with bitterness and regret, unable to move into the sweetness of the land I have prepared for you. You will be alive in body, but frozen in time, a statue of what could have been, rather than a pioneer of what will be. I am calling you to a radical forward focus. The fire behind you is necessary to cleanse the earth. The light in front of you is necessary to guide your feet. Escape for your life. These words are vibrating through the heavens for you right now. Do not stay in the plain, the middle ground of mediocrity and almost. Many people miss their miracle because they stop halfway between the old and the new. They leave the city, but they stay in the shadows of its walls. I am pulling you all the way out. I am taking you to the mountain where the air is pure and the vision is clear. Every time you are tempted to look back at your old identity or your old failures, I want you to look at my face instead. Fix your gaze on the Alpha and the Omega. I am not behind you. I am ahead of you, beckoning you into a future that exceeds your wildest imagination. The smoke of your past is rising as a testimony that the old things have passed away. Do not try to salvage anything from the wreckage. What you leave behind is not a loss. It is a weight that would have prevented you from climbing the heights I have destined for you. Run, my beloved. Run toward the dawn and do not turn your head. Before we move into the next phase of your recalibration, I am asking you to make a choice of total surrender. If you are ready to leave the past in the ashes and never look back, set your heart like flint. Do not let the enemy think he still has a claim on your spirit. You are refusing to become a monument to your past. You are choosing to become a witness of my grace. Let your faith be the seal upon your decision. The city is behind you. The mountain is before you. And my hand is firmly in yours. We are going to a place where the shadows cannot reach. Trust me and keep moving. Now that you have stepped out of the burning city and turned your back on the shadows, I am leading you into the deep interior of my protection. This lockdown is not a prison cell. It is a suite of 3 holy chambers designed for your total restoration. You have been living in the noise for so long that you have forgotten the sound of your own soul. You have been carrying the weight for so long that you have forgotten how it feels to be light. In this sacred separation, you must pass through these 3 rooms before you can step onto the platform of your new destiny. Do not rush through the doors. Do not try to bypass the process. Each chamber holds a specific medicine that your spirit requires to heal from the contamination of the lowlands. The air here is different. It is thick with the fragrance of my presence and the stillness of eternity. Walk with me now into the first chamber, for the door is already open. The first chamber is the chamber of silence. You have been crying out for answers, for signs, and for loud manifestations of my power. But here, I offer you only my quietness. You may feel as though I have stopped speaking. But I tell you, my silence is not abandonment. It is an intimacy so deep that words are no longer necessary. When you are far from someone, you must shout to be heard. When you are holding someone against your heart, you can hear their very thoughts without a single sound. I am that close to you now. In this silence, I am draining the world's static from your ears. I am teaching you to discern the still, small voice that cannot be heard in the whirlwind or the fire. Do not fear the quiet. It is in this void that the seeds of your future are beginning to germinate. The silence is the womb of your miracle, a space where I am rewiring your intuition so that you will never again be deceived by the loud lies of the enemy. The second chamber is the chamber of grief. Many avoid this room, but it is essential for your freedom. In this holy space, I am giving you permission to mourn. You must mourn the versions of yourself that you had to kill to survive. You must mourn the relationships that ended, the dreams that died, and the time you feel you have wasted. I see you trying to be spiritual by suppressing your pain. But I am the God who wept at the grave of Lazarus. I am not asking for a stoic soldier. I am asking for a vulnerable child. Let the tears fall in this chamber, for they are the holy water that washes away the bitterness of the past. As you grieve what you left behind, you are creating space for what I am bringing in. You cannot hold the new wine if your hands are still clenched around the shattered pieces of the old bottles. I am here to catch every tear, to bind every wound, and to tell you that it is okay to let go of the strong version of you that was actually just a person in hiding. The final chamber is the chamber of recalibration. This is where the work of the Spirit becomes technical and profound. Like a fine instrument that has been dropped and battered, your soul has been out of tune. In this chamber, I am adjusting the strings of your heart to the frequency of the throne room. I am recalibrating your perspective, your values, and your desires. You will find that things that once obsessed you no longer hold any power over you. You will find that your hunger for my word and my presence has become an all-consuming fire. I am resetting your spiritual internal clock to match my perfect timing. You are being synchronized with the rhythms of grace. When you emerge from this room, you will not just be better, you will be aligned. You will walk with a new stride, speak with a new authority, and see with a new clarity. The lockdown is nearly complete, and the calibration is almost done. You are being prepared for the weight of the blessing that is coming. Before we move into the divine surgery of your spirit, let your spirit settle into this transition. Walk through these holy chambers and allow me to do the deep work of silence, grief, and recalibration. You are no longer running. You are remaining in the secret place of the Most High. As you align with this frequency, feel the peace of the third chamber beginning to settle over your mind. You are being made new, piece by piece, breath by breath. Confirm your readiness for the upgrade within your heart. The door to the operating room is opening. Be still, my beloved, and do not mistake my silence for distance. There is a specific kind of stillness that occurs in an operating theater, a hush that falls over the room when the great physician steps to the table. You have been wondering why you feel so quiet inside, why the old fires of passion seem to have dimmed, and why you feel a strange sense of numbness in this season of lockdown. It is because I have placed you under a divine anesthesia. If you were fully awake to the magnitude of the shifts I am making in your spirit right now, the intensity would be too much for your mortal frame to bear. I am reaching into the hidden places, into the chambers of your heart, where old wounds have left jagged scars and where the residue of past betrayals has calcified. I am not just healing those scars. I am removing the very tissue that remembers the pain. You feel as though nothing is happening, because the world measures progress by noise. But I measure it by the depth of the transformation. In the unseen realm, the blinding light of my throne is flooding your spiritual bloodstream, flushing out the toxins of your past and preparing you for a weight of glory you have never known. I am performing a spiritual DNA upgrade. Think of your life as a vessel that has been carrying the genetic markers of failure, lack, and generational sorrow. You have been fighting battles that were passed down to you through bloodlines you did not choose, carrying weights of anxiety and poverty that were never yours to own. But today, in this holy silence, I am rewriting the code of your destiny. I am pulling out the threads of not enough and weaving in the golden strands of more than a conqueror. I am touching your mind, recalibrating the way your neurons fire, so that you no longer naturally drift toward fear, but toward an unshakable confidence in my providence. I am inserting the code of royalty, the frequency of favor, and the resilience of a champion into your spiritual marrow. This is a delicate operation, and it requires your total surrender. When Elijah stood on the mountain, I was not in the wind, the earthquake, or the fire. I was in the thin silence of the whisper. That whisper is the sound of my surgical tools at work, refining your character and sharpening your spirit. You are being reconstructed from the inside out, atom by atom, until you reflect my image with a clarity that will stun those who knew you in your former state. If you can feel the heat of my presence performing this surgery right now, if you can feel the internal shift that no doctor can explain, do not remain silent. This is a moment of profound affirmation, a moment where your faith meets my power. Lock in this divine frequency and ensure you stay under my watchful care. This is your signal to heaven that you trust the surgeon's hand and that you are ready for the upgrade. Affirm within your spirit that you are receiving this new DNA. You are moving from the old nature into the divine nature. The surgery is a success. The old you is being removed, and soon the anesthesia will lift, revealing a version of you that the enemy will not even recognize. You are waking up with a new heart, a new mind, and a new power. My beloved, as you emerge from the sacred operating room, you are not merely healed. You are radically upgraded. The old way of processing life, the outdated software of fear, lack, and insecurity, has been completely uninstalled. I am now installing a new spiritual operating system, a divine architecture that will allow you to function at the frequency of the throne room. This upgrade is essential for the weight of the blessing that is coming your way. You cannot run a kingdom destiny on a slave mindset. I am activating 7 core systems within your spirit right now. Pay close attention as the code of heaven is written into the very fabric of your heart, for you will never again respond to the world in the way you once did. The first system I am activating is divine discernment. You will no longer be deceived by flattering lips or the hidden agendas of those who wish to siphon your light. I am giving you eyes that see spirits, not just faces. You will feel the truth of a matter in your spirit before a single word is even spoken. The second is the system of sacred boundaries. I am giving you a holy no that carries no guilt. You will protect the garden of your soul with the fierce love of a gardener who knows the value of the harvest. Your empathy will no longer be a weakness. It will be a guided weapon of my grace. Third, I am installing unshakable resilience. The storms that once shattered your confidence will now only serve to anchor you deeper into the rock. You are becoming fireproof. When the pressure increases, you will not crack. You will turn that pressure into the power to soar. The fourth upgrade is the faith frequency. You are moving from a state of hoping to a state of knowing. You will no longer be moved by what you see in the physical realm, but by what I have promised in the spiritual. This faith will allow you to walk on the very waves that used to drown you. Fifth, I am restoring your royal identity. Every label of failure, victim, or unworthy has been permanently deleted from your hard drive. You are waking up to the reality that you are a child of the Most High, a co-heir with Christ, and a citizen of a kingdom that cannot be shaken. The sixth system is divine purpose alignment. The fog has lifted. You will no longer wander through your days with a sense of, what am I doing here? Every step you take will be saturated with intention, and your daily life will harmonize with the eternal scrolls I have written for you. And finally, the seventh and most powerful upgrade, sovereign authority. I am putting my word in your mouth. Your words are no longer mere sounds. They are seeds of creation and decrees of power. When you speak to the mountains of debt, sickness, or confusion, they must move. When you command peace over your household, the atmosphere must shift. You are no longer a subject of your circumstances. You are a governor of your environment. These 7 systems are now online. You may feel a strange surge of energy or a deep sense of stillness as they settle into your spirit. Do not be afraid of the new power you feel. It is not yours, but mine flowing through you. You have been upgraded to carry the glory that is about to be revealed. The evacuation from the old you is complete. The arrival of the new you has begun. Child, do you wonder why the arrows have been flying thicker lately? Do you wonder why the whispers of doubt have become a roar? And why it feels as though the shadows are reaching for the edges of your mind with a new frantic desperation? It is because the enemy can see what you are only beginning to feel. He sees the glow of the new DNA I have placed within you. He sees the divine lockdown I have enforced over your life. And he knows that once I finish this evacuation, you will be completely out of his reach. The enemy does not tremble at your human strength. He trembles at my presence dwelling within you. He is terrified of your silence. He is terrified of the fact that you have stopped reacting to his provocations and have started resting in my promises. He knows that a believer who has passed through the chamber of silence is a believer who can no longer be manipulated by the static of lies. The increase in the battle you are experiencing is the undeniable proof of your promotion. You are not being attacked because you are failing. You are being targeted because you have become a formidable threat to the kingdom of darkness. I want you to understand the perimeter I have established around you at this very second. Remember how the adversary complained about my servant Job? He said, "Have you not made a hedge around him, around his household, and around all that he has on every side?" That same sovereign boundary is being reinforced around you this very moment. I have placed a wall of holy fire around your spirit that no demonic entity can penetrate. I have stationed legions of angels at your gates, north, south, east, and west, standing with unsheathed swords to guard your peace, your family, and your future. You may hear the howling of the wolves outside the fence, but they cannot cross the line I have drawn in the sand of your destiny. I've covered you with the blood of the Lamb, making you spiritually invisible to the spirit of destruction. Even when you feel vulnerable, you are fortified. Even when you feel exposed, you are hidden in the hollow of my hand. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, not because the weapon doesn't exist, but because the target is now under my direct, celestial protection. As this hedge of protection is sealed around you, I invite you to maintain this frequency of safety through your steadfast faith. Consider this moment a spiritual agreement that you accept the protection of the Most High and that you are making my sanctuary your permanent dwelling place. By standing firm, you are telling the enemy that your house is built on the rock and that you will not be moved by his empty threats. Do not let the noise of the world distract you from the absolute safety of this moment. Envision the hedge of protection growing taller and stronger, fueled by your faith and my eternal faithfulness. You are part of a guarded remnant, and together we are rising above the reach of the darkness. Lock this protection into your life with your trust. The enemy's best shot has already been fired, and it was not enough to stop you. You are no longer a victim wandering in the open field. You are a victor dwelling in the secret place. Let the enemy roar. It is the roar of a defeated foe who knows his time is short. Your finances are being hedged. Your health is being hedged. Your children are being hedged. The emergency evacuation has moved you into a fortress that cannot be shaken. The lockdown has made you fireproof. As you move forward, you do not walk in fear, but in the authority of one who knows they are backed by the entire host of heaven. Rest in this security. Breathe in the safety of my presence. The battle is no longer yours, it is mine, and I have never lost a war. Your transition is being protected, and your destination is guaranteed. My beloved chosen one, the sirens have fallen silent, and the dust of the demolition has settled. You are no longer standing in the toxic wasteland of your past. The emergency evacuation is complete, and you have been successfully relocated to the high altitude of my presence. But do not think that this is the end of the journey. It is the beginning of your new architecture. You cannot walk into this new land using your old rhythms. To maintain the frequency of this upgrade and to ensure that the enemy never finds a foothold in your spirit again, I am giving you a daily activation ritual, a 7-minute recalibration that will anchor your DNA in the light of the throne every single morning. This is not a chore or a religious duty. It is the maintenance of your royal authority. Every morning, before the world can speak its lies to you, give me these 7 minutes, and I will give you a day that defies the laws of the natural world. The first minute is the silence of the sanctuary. Simply breathe, and as you do, visualize the golden light of the lockdown surrounding your home. In this minute, you are not asking for anything. You are simply being with me. The second minute is the incense of gratitude. Do not look for grand miracles. Thank me for the breath in your lungs, the safety of your bed, and the fact that you are still here. Gratitude is the frequency that shatters the spirit of lack. The third minute is the decree of the King. Open your mouth and speak your new identity into the atmosphere. Declare, I am chosen. I am fireproof. I am the recipient of divine favor. The evacuation is done, and I am walking in my new blueprint. Your words are the seeds of the reality you are about to walk into. The fourth minute is the bread of life. Take one promise from my heart and let it sit on your tongue like honey. Do not rush. Let the truth that I am your provider or your protector sink into your marrow. The fifth minute is the canvas of vision. Close your eyes and see the 5 doors I have opened for you. See yourself walking through them with a new stride and a clear mind. The 6th minute is the river of intercession. In this minute, pray for someone else who is still trapped in the fire. As you make sacrifices to help others' dreams and pray for their rescue, I will ensure your own breakthrough is solidified. And the 7th minute is the altar of release. Give me your schedule, your worries, and your expectations for the day. Lay them down and walk away. You have spent 7 minutes recalibrating your soul. And now you are ready to rule your world. This is the moment of the final seal. The prophecy has been spoken, the DNA has been upgraded, and the hedge of protection is standing tall. You are a new creation. The old has passed away. And behold, I am making all things new in your life right now. Do not let the thief steal this word as soon as you stop listening. Seal this prophecy into your spirit for all eternity. Type, "I receive," or "Amen," or "It is done" in the comments right now to lock this blessing into your life forever. By typing these words, you are closing the final gate and confirming that you are the chosen one for whom this message was intended. Press the like button and subscribe to this channel one last time to signal your permanent residency in this family of light. You are no longer a victim, you are a victor. The lockdown has preserved you, and the evacuation has promoted you. Go forth in my power, for I am with you always, even unto the end of the age.